So in this Tanstack Start application that I've been kind of working on, there are certain routes that only an admin can go to. And I have certain authentication authorization checks in place to kind of kick people out if they shouldn't have access to see this. So I wanted to talk about all the different ways I'm securing this application in case you guys are also working with Tanstack Start. There'll be some good information in this. So right now I am logged in as an admin. And if I were to go and log out and try to hit that same page, let's go here, I'll log out. So now I'm logged out and I am unauthenticated. So let's just go back to that admin/analytics and notice I get kicked back to an unauthenticated route. So the first way that I kind of secure my endpoints, if I go to the admin/route, this is like the layout for that, where we have like the side navigation on the left and then the actual outlet in the center. But the important part is that in this before all, I have a server function that I run so that on both the server side and the client side, when you try to navigate to any route that has /admin in it, and what this function does is it first makes sure that we're logged in. So like it just runs an assert authentication function, which basically validates the session cookie. And if it's not defined, we throw a redirect error down here. So this one will redirect us. And if we were to log back in as a different user who's not an admin, what happens is we get redirected here. So this is kind of how I do it. I have this in a functions auth file, but I have a bunch of other things in here like is authenticated function, assert is admin function. My naming convention is if it's prefixed with assert, I know it's going to throw some type of error or do some type of redirect error. If it's not, then I know I can just call it, somewhere in my code base. Maybe it's like another server function. I can call this to verify that they are actually authenticated. Here's another one, is premium function. So if I go here, you'll see that there's some courses that are actually set as pro only. So if I click on this one, notice that it shows a completely different screen than if I was actually logged in. We'd actually see like a video here. I see a nice upgrade to premium button, which would then take us to the pricing page. And so the way I achieve that is when this segment is loading, I'm probably calling is premium feature somewhere. So let's find where this is being called. And it looks like it's being called in this index over here. Now you'll notice that this one's not in the before loader because everyone needs to be able to hit this route. Like we still need to show something. So I don't run that authentication check there, but I do run it in the loader where I check if we are premium or if we're admin. And so these flags are fetched in the loader and I send them back as the route props down here. And if I scroll down, I think is premium is fetched somewhere. I don't know where that's fetched. Right here. Route.use loader data. So in Tanstack Start, you can grab the loader data like this. And I'm checking to see if we're premium or if we're an admin. And based on those, we have the view segment down here. Show upgrade panel. Okay, so if we are premium and we're not an admin, we go ahead and show that upgrade panel, which is what you're seeing with that, like the pro mode, premium content badge type of thing. Okay, so that's how I do authentication checks on my routes. So like the before loader. Inside the page, I will sometimes change content based on if you're logged in, if you're not logged in, if you're an admin, if you're just a normal user. And basically you just get those flags and like change stuff. The last thing I want to show is the server functions, right? All these pages, especially the admin pages, have the ability to submit a form to the backend. And we want to make sure that those things are secured, right? So I have a folder over here called functions. If I look at any of these, you'll see I have a bunch of server functions over here. Now with these server functions, you can actually attack on middleware calls. So I can say, hey, this server function for updating a comment, the only person who should do this are authenticated people. So in the app, like you can leave a comment on something, and I want to make sure that you're actually logged in because what this middleware does is it basically gets the user information from the session token, and I pass that in context to the function that I was trying to get called next in the pipeline of the middleware. Okay, let's go back. Basically, this context thing, if you hover over it now, it has a user ID, it has is admin, and I can use that to dynamically change how the backend logic is kind of working. Now, some other endpoints, I have this one, admin middleware, and the way this one works is I basically, again, get their session token, but then I check if they're an admin, which I do believe does like one more database call. Actually, no, this just checks a flag on the user object itself. If I go to the schema, we have a users table, and I have an is premium on it and a is admin, which I can go and manually update those in my database if I want to. So that's kind of how this is working. But you'll notice all throughout all my application, I have all my server functions in a functions folder. So it's easy for me to go through here and make sure that every single thing that can be invoked from the front end, I can quickly glance through and make sure that it has middleware. And as you guys have been seeing, I've been using a lot of Claude code on my channel. So one thing you can also do is just, drag this thing and say, please validate all admin related server functions have the proper middleware on them. This is nice because you can kick off a security review on basically all of your server functions. This is kind of why I like layered architecture. Like sometimes I like co-locating things next to the components, but then it makes it hard to do but then it makes it a little bit harder to just do a complete blanket like analysis on the layer of your code. So at one point I was putting server functions next to the actual components and routes that use them. And then I'm like, you know what, it'd actually be easier for me to maintain this code if I just keep them all in the same folder, just so I don't have to dive through a bunch of files just to find where, I could be exposing some data to the front end or allowing people to run stuff on the back end. Now, I think the last thing that's important to show with Tanstack start is I have this validate request function. And what this is doing, again, is calling get session token. And if you look at this, it's calling a get cookies method. So I basically set a cookie when you log in, and then I fetch that on every single server function, every single page load to check, hey, like, are you logged in? Is your cookie still valid? And what user are you? And are you an admin? Okay, so if you're using Tanstack start, there's this get cookie method and set cookie method that you can import from this location that allows you to fetch that session cookie. And I think I use that token and I fetch something from the database here. Let me check this one. Yeah, so this one actually like looks up in the database using that token, and then it should return me the user if that token's valid. If not, it might actually renew the token if I did the request within a certain time period, and then I send back the actual session, and then I send back the user object, which has the is admin, is premium type of thing. So that's how I'm doing authentication checks in Tanstack Start. I know one of the biggest requests I've got from my subscribers was to make a video about authorization and how like role-based authorization kind of works. I'll probably make a video to follow up with that highly requested video idea soon. But I did kind of want to talk a little bit about how authentication works in Tanstack Start in case you guys are playing around with Tanstack Start and trying to get this going for yourself. That's about it. Let me know if there's anything you think I missed in this video, and maybe I can make a follow-up video. Have a good day, and happy coding.